The room smelled like vanilla cake and forced happiness. Pink balloons brushed the ceiling. Someone laughed too loudly near the gift table. And my wife. She was glowing. 7 months pregnant, hand resting on her belly, smiling at everyone like life was perfect. I stood beside the drink table, holding a glass of sparkling water I hadn't touched for 10 minutes. Watching, listening, waiting. Then it happened. She raised her glass for a toast. My husband has been wonderful through all of this, she said politely. Polite. Like I was a co-worker who helped carry groceries once. But then she turned. Her smile changed. Softer, warmer, real. And I want to thank Daniel, she said. Daniel, her assistant project manager, standing across the room. Tall, confident, handsome in that casual way men are when they know exactly how women see them. Everyone clapped politely. But my ears were ringing, because Daniel walked forward, and he placed his hand on her stomach, slowly, like it belonged there, like it had always belonged there. My wife didn't move his hand away. She just smiled down at it. And something inside my chest went very quiet, very still. That was the moment I understood something. Something ugly. Something cold. Something that would take me 3 weeks to prove, and 5 minutes to destroy. Suspicion doesn't arrive like a thunderstorm. It seeps in, quietly, like water under a locked door. At first I told myself it was nothing. Daniel worked closely with her. Long projects, late meetings, corporate travel, normal things. That's what she said when I asked. Her voice light. Her eyes avoiding mine for half a second too long. You're being paranoid, she told me. Maybe I was, but paranoia has a strange advantage. It makes you watch, and once you start watching, patterns appear. Late-night texts she hid when I entered the room. Work dinners that stretched past midnight. Perfume she never used before. Little things. Tiny fractures in the surface of a marriage that used to feel solid. Then one night I noticed something else. Her phone lit up while she showered. A message preview appeared. Daniel. Did you feel him kick today? Him! Not the baby. Him! My chest tightened. My brain began assembling pieces I didn't want to see. Her sudden insistence that I skip the last ultrasound. Her nervousness when the doctor mentioned blood tests. The way she kept saying, "You worry too much." Maybe I did. But I also remembered something else. The conception date. The business conference in Chicago. The same week Daniel attended. And the same week my flight home was canceled by a snowstorm. 3 days apart. 3 days. That was all it took for doubt to become a quiet, poisonous certainty. Still, I didn't accuse her. Not yet. Accusations are emotional. I prefer evidence. People underestimate silence. Silence is the most powerful weapon a betrayed man has. Because while they relax, you learn everything. I began with small things. Phone records, cloud backups, shared calendar histories. Patterns formed quickly. Late-night calls between them that lasted hours. Deleted messages recovered through backups she didn't know existed. Photos from work trips where their shoulders touched just a little too comfortably. Still not enough. Not for what I needed. So I waited for the opportunity. And it arrived during her prenatal appointment. I'm running late for a meeting, she said, handing me a small envelope from the clinic. Can you drop this blood sample request off at the lab for me? Of course. My hands were steady when I took it. Inside was the routine prenatal test order. But the clinic also offered something else. A non-invasive prenatal paternity test. Simple. Blood from the mother. DNA from the alleged father. Results in 5 days. I sat in my car afterward, staring at the form. Then I filled in the blank. Not Daniel's name. Mine. Because truth doesn't hide from science. It only waits. 5 days passed slowly. I remained the same husband she thought she controlled. Attentive. Calm. Quiet. I rubbed her belly at night. I cooked dinner. I even thanked Daniel politely at work events. He thought he was winning. People always do. Until the envelope arrives. The results came on a Tuesday morning. Thin, white envelope. Clinical. Emotionless. I opened it at my office desk. One sentence stood out. Probability of paternity, 0%. 0. Not maybe. Not unlikely. Impossible. For a long moment, I simply stared at the paper. My pulse slowed. My breathing steadied. Strange. I thought I would feel rage. Instead, I felt clarity. A kind of cold mathematical certainty. The baby wasn't mine, which meant the man who touched her stomach at the shower already knew. That evening, I placed the report on the kitchen table. She came home humming, dropped her purse. Then she saw the envelope. "What's this?" she asked. "Test results," I said calmly. She opened it. Read the first line, then the second. The color drained from her face like someone had pulled a plug. "Wait!" Her voice cracked. This has to be wrong." I leaned back in my chair. "No," I said quietly. "It's exactly right." Silence filled the room. Then the excuses started. The tears, the trembling voice, but none of it mattered anymore. Because by then, I had already moved to the finals. 3 days later, we hosted a small follow-up gathering. Close friends, family, and Daniel. He arrived smiling, confident. He even brought flowers. The arrogance was almost impressive. Dinner passed quietly, polite conversation, wine glasses clinking. Then I stood up. "I want to thank everyone for coming," I said. My wife looked nervous. Daniel looked curious. I placed several envelopes on the table. "For transparency," I continued calmly, "I thought everyone should see the test results." Confusion rippled through the room. My wife's hand trembled. Daniel's smile faded. They opened the envelopes. "Read the words." Then slowly, very slowly, every pair of eyes in the room turned toward them. Daniel spoke first. "This is private." "Not anymore," I said. My wife began crying. Loud, desperate. But the damage had already happened. Truth is brutal when exposed in daylight. I picked up my coat, looked directly at Daniel. "You should take responsibility," I said calmly. Then I looked at my wife. "And you should learn what loyalty costs." No shouting, no drama, just facts. The room felt like a courtroom, and the verdict had already been delivered. Divorce papers were filed 2 weeks later. Efficient, clean, quiet. Daniel didn't last long. Affairs rarely survive reality. Responsibility is far less exciting than secrecy. Last month, I bought a villa in Switzerland. White stone walls, glass balconies overlooking the lake. Peaceful, cold, perfect. Yesterday, my phone rang. My daughter-in-law's voice filled the line. "If you want to join Thanksgiving," she snapped, "come wash the dishes." I smiled slightly. "Enjoy," I replied. Then I posted photos of the villa, snow on the mountains, champagne on the terrace. Within an hour, my phone rang again. And again. 71 missed calls. People always want access once they realize what they lost. But I had already learned the most valuable lesson betrayal teaches. Silence is power. Distance is freedom. And some people only understand your worth after you disappear from their lives forever.